In 2025, the war in Ukraine rages on, defined by one undeniable truth: artillery is king. And in this high-stakes battle of firepower, Russia holds a commanding lead. How did Russia achieve artillery shell supply superiority, and what does it mean for the conflict? Let's dive into the story. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, artillery has accounted for over 80% of casualties on both sides. The 152mm and 122mm shells used by Russian forces, and the 155mm shells supplied to Ukraine by NATO, are the lifeblood of this war. But in 2025, Russia's ability to produce and source shells has given it a decisive edge. Russia fires up to 10,000 shells daily, dwarfing Ukraine's output, which struggles to reach 5,000 even with Western support. This gap isn't just about numbers. It's about production, logistics, and strategic foresight. Russia's artillery dominance begins with its wartime economy. By 2025, Russia produces an estimated 3 to 4.5 million artillery shells annually, nearly 3 times the combined output of the United States and Europe, which manage about 1.3 million shells per year. Russia's managed economy allows it to prioritize munitions production. Factories run 24/7, with 3.5 million workers in the defense sector. The state subsidizes costs, keeping each 152mm shell at roughly $1,000, 4 times cheaper than NATO's $4,000, 155mm shells. Key facilities like Kurgan-Mashchevod and the Nizhny Novgorod plant churn out thousands of shells monthly. Russia's centralized system, honed since Soviet times, ensures efficiency. Meanwhile, Western production, slowed by bureaucracy and profit-driven models, lags behind. Russia's domestic production is only part of the story. Foreign allies have filled critical gaps. North Korea has supplied over 2 million shells since 2023, with factories running at full capacity to meet Russian demand. Iran has delivered at least 300,000 shells, and Belarus provides additional munitions. While up to 50% of North Korean shells may be faulty, their sheer volume keeps Russian artillery firing. These partnerships, combined with Russia's own output, create a supply chain that Ukraine and its allies struggle to match. Ukraine, reliant on Western aid, faces a dire shortage. The U.S. aimed to produce 100,000 155mm shells monthly by late 2025, but funding delays and production bottlenecks have stalled progress. Europe, despite initiatives like Germany's Rheinmetall factory, won't hit 2 million shells annually until 2026. For every shell we fire, the Russians answer with 5. We're forced to be precise, but precision alone can't stop the barrages. The EU delivered nearly 1 million shells to Ukraine by late 2024, but this fell short of promises and arrived late. Meanwhile, US aid faltered under political shifts, leaving Ukraine vulnerable. Russia's advantage isn't without cracks. Its factories may hit peak capacity by 2026, and many stored shells are degraded. Artillery barrels, critical for sustained firing, wear out after 2,000 to 6,000 shots, and Russia relies on imported chromium from Kazakhstan and aging machinery. Sanctions and diplomatic pressure could disrupt these supply chains. For now, though, Russia's production and imports keep its guns roaring. Russia's shell superiority shapes the battlefield, but Ukraine counters with precision drones and NATO-supplied systems like HIMARS. These technologies reduce the artillery gap, but they can't fully offset Russia's relentless barrages. Russia's advantage lies in volume, but wars aren't won by shells alone. Ukraine's adaptability and Western support could still shift the balance if aid arrives in time. In 2025, Russia's artillery shell supply stands as a formidable pillar of its war machine. With unmatched production, foreign allies, and a state-driven economy, Russia fires on. But as Ukraine fights back with ingenuity and dwindling Western aid, the question remains, can Russia's firepower secure victory, or will its vulnerabilities and Ukraine's resilience turn the tide? But let's step back. These numbers, 4.5 million produced, 4 million in reserve, rely on estimates, often from Western or Ukrainian sources. Russia's opaque reporting makes verification tough. Are they inflating production to intimidate, or downplaying shortages to project strength? The truth likely lies in between. In 2025, Russia's artillery shell inventory will shape the war's trajectory. With 4.5 million shells produced, millions more imported, and a shrinking stockpile, Russia can sustain its barrage for now. But worn barrels, faulty imports, and Ukrainian strikes threaten to tip the balance. This isn't just a numbers game. It's a test of resilience, strategy, and resolve.